Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent, the Sick Twisted Minds at Sacrificial Productions brings you a new style gore film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who are brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is a concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, there's Jason's mask.
What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to another exciting episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy. This will be dropped out on Friday the 13th, another Friday the 13th special. Today I have my guest with me, Henry. What's up?
What's going on?
And I also have Scott. He came back. How's it going, Scott?
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Anytime, man. And, you know, again, Friday the 13th special. Chose this movie because for some reason this is Scott's favorite Friday the 13th movie. And
it is, unfortunately.
I was just, before you got on, Scott, I was talking to Henry about this movie, and I was telling him, I was like, I just rewatched it to get a little refresher today.
Yep.
And this movie, to me, does not feel like a Friday the 13th movie at all. It's like a movie with Jason in it. And
right.
It just from the beginning, like even the opening credits, like the music to me seemed like too damn happy. And this music, I feel like this music should have been in like the Karate Kid or something like that. Yeah, like the Karate Kid or any Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. You know, when he's about to fight at the end of the movie.
Like Bloodsport.
Yes. When he's about to fight, and you know when he's about to win, he's getting his ass beat. He's about to win, and the fight of the night, that shit comes on. He just, he wins. He gets the girl.
He's always about to win, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Even if he's losing, he's about to win.
I know he is.
It's Van Damme. It's the power of the script.
I just bought a bag of Tostitos because of him.
Was that music playing?
At my house.
Oh
yeah, I think it was.
Probably.
You know, they had back in the day, real quick. Sorry to get off the subject a little bit.
Good.
But back in the day, he did a bunch of green screen stuff, and people input him in the background for stuff. Like, has one where a dude answers the door, and he does a kick to the dude, and the dude like falls down. Yeah, you gotta check it out. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd watch something like that.
Tostitos.
I love Tostitos.
Tostitos awesome. We get the cheese as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, perfect.
Yes, you have to. So, anyway, back to Jason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kane, as you guys may know, as you guys know, and, the listeners may know or not know, Kane Hodder is hands down my favorite Jason. And the thing that sucks is, I'll say 3 out of the 4 movies that he played in as Jason are, like, on the bottom of my list. Which kind of sucks. Like, the stories weren't all that strong for him, in my opinion. And but
it wasn't his fault, though.
Not at all.
No.
He played the shit out of the role, is what I'm saying. Like, he did such a great job. He was like, did you guys read the book? Kane Hodder's book?
No,
Yeah.
no, you were telling me about it. Last time we were talking about horror stuff.
Yeah, and I listened to the audiobook. I actually want to own that book. But like in the book when he's talking about the Friday the 13th movies, like how he really, I love how he like really gets in the character. Like he said when he's in his Jason costume, he won't hang around the other cast. He won't hang around the other cast at all. Another thing he does, which I did mention when me and you were talking, Scott, is like he pees in trailers, which I thought was fucking hilarious. Like he'll just pee in a co-star's trailer, I guess in one of them he even peed in his own trailer on the floor, not just going to the, but pissed right on the floor because he didn't want to take the whole suit off. Which is
That's
just
something I would do.
yeah.
Perfect.
The only difference is, Henry, you'd be naked and doing that shit.
Right. Wouldn't care.
Well, yeah.
You baby Jason.
But
And remember also when they were on break filming Jason Takes Manhattan, he kept his costume on and scared those kids in the woods, right? Or was it a park?
it was
sitting on a
was
chair.
Part 7. I thought it was part 7.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. That he was sitting in like a chair, not necessarily like out in a field. He was just sitting in a chair in the whole costume, and kids were throwing rocks at him, and he was just sitting there, and eventually he'd just like get up and scare the shit out of him, and like he was saying that I guess
they were filming.
one of the kids, it was either that one or Jason X. It was either 7 or X. Anyway, he scared him, and like they would come in on bikes, and then they would just run home. He said one of the kids left their bikes there for a couple days because they were scared to go back. I was like, that's so fucking awesome. Like he really, really gets into the role. Another thing that he does, real quick, before I let you guys to talk about the movie, is like when he's alone, getting ready, getting hyped up, he'll be like in the background yelling and banging on shit just to get hyped for the part, which I thought it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I noticed with like I said, I got the refresher course on YouTube. I didn't really like watch it, but I got the kind of the gist of it. But like any time he was on screen, it was like there was a lot of that intensity as you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he like really, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the actors were pretty bad at dying, but he was fine. You know, he did his part.
Oh hell yeah!
It's just, you know, there's some pretty good kills that I enjoyed in that movie. So we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my favorite kill. I have two of my favorites are in that movie, and one of them is just it's so simple. Like
we could discuss it now. I mean, we can throw that in whenever. So
yes,
go ahead.
So one of my favorites is the sauna when he picked up the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could hear the sizzle.
Puts it on dude's chest or whatever. Yeah, that was a good one.
Picked it up. Yeah, simple. Just it was unique. It was creative though, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the best kill in the whole movie is the boxing scene at towards the end.
Yep.
When
Julius.
He got hit a couple times, and then he just hit him once. Boom, knocked his head off. Clean off.
Yep.
Clean off, went down right into like the dumpster.
But
then he shows up into the police car, but we'll get to that.
That part was funny though, because like Julius was over there boxing, like he hit him about at least 50, 60 times, if not more. And then he was all tired. He's like, "Give me your best shot, motherfucker!" And he got his head knocked off. Like that was his last line in the movie.
Yep.
And oh man, that tracksuit Julius had on.
Scene where,
huh?
It should have been a deleted scene where a crackhead found his head in the dumpster.
In a deleted scene.
I get money for this.
It was.
He actually, the crackhead puts the head in the police car. Actually.
Yo, you know what was funny about this one? With this movie, Jason had me laughing because like when they're on the ship and he kills the captain and the co-captain, whatever the hell you call him.
Yep.
He stands the captain up at the. It doesn't show it, but when it goes back to the scene, like when they're in the fucking captain area, I don't know anything about boats. When they're in that area, you see the captain standing up dead, like with the steering wheel. I was rolling. And then later on, as you guys were mentioning, when he knocks Julius's head off, they all get to the cop car. They're like, "Yeah, Julius will turn up sometime." The cop gets in the front door. The light turns on. You see his head in the fucking front of the thing, and then Jason yokes the cop out the car. I was dying. I was like, this guy's playing some jokes.
He goes, "Oh, we need backup." Gets dragged in the alley. And then what was the chick, Renee, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
jumps in the front seat, starts driving, freaking crashes the police car. It's like, good job, good going.
Yep. That movie, man.
And then with all the things that happened in that movie, that's still not the weirdest thing that's happened in Manhattan.
No.
Nope.
You know, also one of my favorite parts. I mean, it is comical, but it kind of gives Jason character because when he's like focused on people that he needs to kill, is the radio scene where the bunch of like punks basically listen to the radio and he comes walking, just fucking boots it and like it takes out the switchblade, right? He goes, "Hey, what's the problem?" Just flips off his mask like, "Oh, it's
you're
cool,
good,
man.
yep,
It's cool.
You're cool.
It's cool. Yeah, no, you're cool. That's your radio now. Go ahead.
Yeah,
And-
that and I like the scene where he breaks through the diner.
Oh, I would have been like, yo, why'd you kick your radio?
Yeah.
It's yours.
That diner scene. Funny thing about that diner scene is remember the big dude that he threw?
Yeah. Yep.
That guy ended up playing Jason in Freddy vs. Jason,
Yep.
which is bullshit.
Oh.
Kane should have been Jason. We all know that, but that guy played Jason in Freddy
They
vs.
told him
Jason.
that he had the part.
Yep. They told him he had the part, and they never told him he didn't have the part until pretty much they were doing the movie. Like, we didn't give you the part.
Wow.
Yeah,
that
because
sucks.
he reached out to see what was up, and that's when he found out. And they said the only reason they casted that guy over Kane was because he was taller.
Which was, oh man, they should. I feel like if Kane, nothing against that guy. I'm not saying that guy didn't do bad, but I just feel like Kane would have did a much better job playing Jason. I know Jason has no speaking roles, but just the attitude, the body movement, like just all that would have been so much better.
Yeah,
And-
that's what makes Kane Hodder so good as a Jason. Even if he said,
Hold on, guys.
Yep.
Even that, hang on, I'm just gonna pause it real quick. Yeah, so like as I was saying, with these movies, I don't hate any Jason movie. I love the franchise as a whole, Henry. Even known this since we were kids, but it's just there's some weak movies, but it happens with any horror. It happens with any horror franchise when they make
With it.
more. I'll say when they make 3 or more movies, there's always gonna be a couple weak links in there.
Especially when you have a
absolutely.
different director.
Oh yeah,
Each time, yeah. But what was it? As I was saying, but geez, I lost track. No, but I was saying we're like jumping all over the place here.
Yeah.
But it's we were saying about Kane Hodder and how he would, playing Freddy vs. Jason, and I totally agree with you. I mean, it just sucks he didn't get the part because you can see it in this movie when he's on screen. That intensity, that like like I don't care, I'm killing you, and I'm gonna do it like
He's
so
got a
good.
one-track mind.
Exactly. Kane just does it so well in this movie, regardless of the character. Like one of my favorite kill scenes is the chick on the dance floor. She's like looking around and pops out of nowhere and like chokes her. But then after he gets done choking her to death, he just tosses her like a rag doll. There's a lot of tossing
Why are you
scenes.
so angry?
Yeah, exactly. It's so great though. It makes
After all these years.
Yeah.
hey man, you gotta be. I like. You know what I liked in this movie too, and Henry, we've discussed this on the countdown. He threw somebody through a fucking window again, which I was just like, yes. And it was actually, I don't remember his name, but it was the girl's uncle, and I didn't like to do it anyway. The guy ran into like an abandoned building, and then all of a sudden, the camera pans up to the window, and all of a sudden you just see glass shatter, and this dude was getting thrown out the window.
Oh yeah, that's the dude he ends up killing into the toxic waste barrel, right?
Yes. Puts him in
They
that.
didn't, that was awesome. Yeah,
Drowns him in that.
you just see outside the building, right? And all of a sudden you just see him get thrown out the window.
That was awesome.
He just violates personal space, like
I
like other slashers, like we'll cut you in half or stab you, whatever. He'll just grab you.
yeah.
Yep.
He definitely
There's
will.
no problem. Yeah, he has no problem.
Manhandle you.
Yeah, he's showing.
I'd rather have my head cut off than be strangled or fucking picked up and then thrown again. Like
And then drown.
yeah,
nothing.
all the same thing.
Like this movie really showcased like Jason's strength.
Yeah, it definitely did.
And also too his special ability because he definitely teleported out of nowhere on quite a few kills.
Yeah, he did. He must.
Because he's a deadite.
He
Yeah,
had,
yes.
Yo, Jason was the first one to use instant transmission. Sorry,
Yep.
Goku.
Goku Lunar from Jason.
He
Yep.
did. He must have. Because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. This motherfucker can't swim, right? He goes from Camp Crystal Lake, but he teleported from Camp Crystal Lake to what's that body? Is that the Mohawk? What body water is that in the city? Hudson?
That's the Hudson.
So he
Yeah,
transported
the
from
mouth
there
of
to
the
the Hudson. After he fucks up the ship, you know, remember everybody got in the canoe or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Everybody gets on that boat,
Yeah.
the lifeboat. They go over. You know, they get to the city, and now all of a sudden you see Jason climb up the ladder. I'm like, okay, if he can't swim, was he walking at the bottom of the water? Did he teleport? Like, what's going on?
Well, what's strange in the beginning of the movie, he actually like climbs on a ladder on the side of the boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like,
How'd he get there?
like what? But it's because doesn't the chick have visions of Kid Jason? And
Yeah.
she stabs him in the eye with a pen early in the movie.
That.
Because he broke through and tried like choking her, and
Yep.
she like grabbed the pen.
Yep. Oh, he was choking her through that window, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then so where they filmed the original Friday the 13th was in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
right? So we could assume that Crystal Lake is in New Jersey,
Yeah.
which is not too far from New York City.
That part I get, but I mean, like, in my opinion, the way they could have did this movie with him going to Manhattan, that doesn't really bother me at all. But like, I mean, if they would have made it so, I get he was kind of following this girl or whatever, but if they would have made it more known, or even like say if they started out at the camp for whatever reason, like say they're going from the camp to the city, and you know he just followed that group. Like say he killed a few people at the camp, of course, but he followed the group of survivors all the way to the city. He killed, they had extra characters, let's say throwaway characters, that he killed a couple at the camp, he killed a couple on the ship, and then the ones that he killed in the city, he killed in the city. That would have been pretty dope right there.
Yeah, but it was strange because in the opening scene, obviously, he got taken down from Tina's Tina's dad
Mm-hmm.
in the seventh.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way to go, Dad. Right there.
Yeah, way to go. And then
Way to show up.
Yeah,
Dick.
there's electricity running through the water.
Oh, through that wire, yeah.
That wire gets brought back, then kill the Jared Leto lookalike on the boat, and then gets the mask, and then kills the chick hiding in the front of the boat, rather than she's jumping away and swimming. But it was weird because I don't even think they explained why she sees visions of
Jason.
Kid Jason.
Oh, yeah. Actually, they do. Later in the movie, you find out that her uncle, she has matter of fact, it's right after she hits Jason with the car. Yep. She's staring at him. He's out. He's his body's on fire, and she's staring at him. She's having a daydream or a vision or whatever, and it's her and her uncle on a canoe at Camp Crystal Lake. And every year he's asking her about if she's gonna learn to swim. He's like, "Well, you need to learn how to swim." And he tells her about how Jason's in the lake at the bottom of the water, and then this dickhead throws her in the water. No damn, if you're gonna teach your kid how to swim or your niece or nephew. Don't bring them out. First of all, don't bring them to Camp Crystal Lake. Second of all, if you're gonna, you think you'd at least teach them in shallow water that they can walk in. This dude put the bar into the middle of the lake and threw her in the water. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's like
on your own,
man.
Literally. And then Jason grabs her foot underwater, and that's how she sees her. But the weird thing about that is, it's like when she was. So I'm guessing her and Jason around. I wonder how old Jason is in these movies. Kind of, because it's like. He drowned as a kid, right? So he throws her in the water as a kid, and he's pulling her down underwater as a kid. But every single movie you see Jason in, besides part one, he's an adult. So I'm like, what part of the timeline did this happen?
The other thing I like about just the whole franchise is he looks worse and worse with each movie.
I love that part of it. And another great thing about this franchise that I love is it always starts from where the last one finished. I love that part about it. And it shows you how he comes
just like
back.
The Incredibles movie.
Okay. I didn't see The Incredibles 2. I want to though. But I like that.
It picks up literally where the first one ended, right there.
That's how it should be for certain movies. I mean, for
Off
certain
topic a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. certain franchises, though, horror franchises, I'll say, because we're discussing horror. I feel like if you're gonna make a bunch of sequels, it would be cool to kind of start it off, kind of sort of from where the last one ended, or like in that timeline at least. Don't just start a whole new story with the same motherfucker killing people.
Right. Yeah, they did that with what 2 and 3, right? Pretty much. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did that with 2 and 3.
2 and 3. They did it with most of them, though.
I think
With all of them, I
I
believe.
think you get that when you have multiple directors.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, because each one, they might want to like, outdo the one before them, or
Put their own little spin on it.
Yeah, put their own little spin on it. You know. I
Absolutely.
mean, look at the Freddy movies.
Oh,
He
man.
has 3 different origins throughout the whole series.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, but it's cool though in a way because which origin's the real origin. That what
Right,
makes
you can
it more,
choose
even
which
more,
one you like the best.
Exactly. Sometimes if you do it wrong, then it hurts the franchise. But with Freddy, the way that he is portrayed and how his backstory came about, and then switching up the origin story, you can kind of get away with that because it's heard from word of mouth. So it's like nobody really knows the full tale.
Yeah, because he's like a campfire story. Like.
Yep.
Like urban legends, will change from town to town or whatever, or generation to generation.
Yep. That's I like that though. It works. Like I said, sometimes it works, but I don't know. I guess it depends on the movie too. Like I feel like for Friday the 13th, the origin should stay the same. I kind of see how Freddy can be different because because the whole dream sequence, maybe because people's dreams are a little bit different or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
like with like the urban legend thing, like remember where I lived in by the cemetery, Aaron?
Yeah.
There was kind of like what they call Banana Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 32 years old, still to this day. I've never been in that cemetery past nightfall.
I don't blame you.
If you were, there was a bum that dressed in a banana suit that would rape boys.
Oh man.
In that cemetery. So I'd be in there fishing. Sun's coming down, pull my line out, and going home.
Yeah, shit.
Not taking a chance.
I don't blame you. That's a true horror movie in itself. That's a true horror shit.
Uh-huh. Like I'm not even exaggerating. There'd be times where I would be running out of there at night because, like, I'm in there, I'm fishing. I'm not really paying attention. Next thing I know, the lights are coming on.
Mm-hmm. And you got your pole in the water, and somebody else has their pole in your booty. You don't want that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not.
You
I'm
don't
not
want
risking
that.
my
You don't want
manhood.
that surprise.
No.
No.
That's not a good surprise to wake up to.
Mm-mm.
Not quite, Jason status, but
Right.
Still getting stabbed with
like, at least I'm going out in style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or make it quick and easy. Sometimes.
And then the other thing that was cool about the Jason movies is he never killed kids.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
So you have all these kids that are afraid of Jason. He's not gonna kill you. Remember, which one was the one where there was a cabin full of kids and he walked through it?
Part 6.
Yeah.
Right. I remember watching that. And I'm like, he's gonna kill all these kids. I mean, even Angela killed all those kids that were camping out.
She was a kid though, right?
He bitch.
Or was this in the later ones?
Teenager, yeah.
That is true though. Jason doesn't kill kids, which now that we're on that topic, just real quick, how does that, like the horror movies where they do kill kids or kids involved, how does that make you guys feel? Does it bother you or?
I think that's what makes me enjoy Jason more as a horror, character. Even though he's like this unstoppable one-track mind type of killer,
Mm-hmm.
he's still his frustration is not on the kids at all. It's about
he's a kid at heart.
He's a kid at heart. So it's any like teenagers and adults. So it
13's the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. 13's the cutoff. So if you're like 12 and under, you're safe, and if you're 13 and up, you better learn how to run really, really far away.
And then
that's not enough. Yep. Even then, it's not enough.
Henry, same. Oh, go ahead. You can finish.
that's it. I like that. It's even though he's all these things, he still has a character
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And same question for you, Henry. How does that, like with the horror movies where they harm kids and all that stuff, especially with you being a father now, how does that does it bother you to the point where like you don't like it, or is it,
No. No. No, not at all.
Okay. Me, I don't.
I mean, like,
no, go ahead.
Hereditary. Scott, did you see Hereditary?
No, I heard it was good though.
Go see it.
It's worth it.
And in the theater though. Yeah. Oh yeah. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's damn, that movie's. It's good. Like, I'm really at a loss, like, explaining it, but it's one of those movies where, like, the answer to what's going on is right in front of you, and you got to look all over. Like, I was looking at this one, something that happened to somebody, and then my wife noticed in the top left of the screen, there was somebody hiding.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, and then when the first person dies, it's just downhill from there.
So I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's definitely one of those movies when you leave the theater, you're gonna be thinking about it, like, what the hell?
Okay.
All right.
I guess I'll answer that same question too about with the kids being involved with the horror, like killing or being killed. It doesn't bother me only if it fits with the movie. Like if it's just a senseless kill that has nothing to do with then it doesn't make sense. But if it has something to do with it, like I'll give you an example, like Sinister, with all the stuff what they had with the kids in there, it worked for that movie. It worked well for that movie.
That movie was great.
It was fucking crazy, but it worked great for that movie. The movie was crazy. Another one I can think of real quick, I haven't seen it in years, but The Grudge.
Yep.
Like movie, you know what I mean? But then, so it really depends on the story and how the movie's going. And like I feel like for us, I guess maybe not all slashers. I'll just say for Jason movies, maybe it wouldn't really work because he didn't have his beef wasn't with the kids. It was with the counselors.
Wouldn't make any sense.
And with adult, it was with adults. The counselors and just grown-ups in general, teenagers and grown-ups in general.
And I mean, really, anything for me, just about anything is fair game as long as it's done tastefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As tastefully as it can be done. You know what I mean? When we are talking about,
a horror
kid
movie
that drowned and came back and
yeah. But I know what you mean. Another one that I think like I don't mind if it's used, just to throw it out there real quick, if it's used correctly, is racism. Like if it's just thrown in there just to be thrown in there, it doesn't like this movie. Oh my god, this movie was so fucking bad. I watched it about a month or two ago. I posted it on Instagram. I think I posted it on Facebook too. But
you watched what?
I'm about to tell you the title of this movie, and it had a lot to do with racism, but it was a garbage movie. Ooga Booga.
Ooga Booga.
Yes, that's the real fucking title. Ooga Booga. I gave that movie a fucking 1. That movie was just so bad. I don't even remember. Like, I can't even explain to you the movie. It was so bad. And like I said, with the with the racism stuff, it didn't bother me, but it just it was bad because it. Like, I understand what the movie was supposed to be about, but it just didn't work. Like, the story was just bad. Mm-hmm. I just had to throw that out there real quick. But, I
think the time it worked the most, and Aaron, I know you'll agree, with the racism, stuff like that, was Tales from the Hood.
I love that fucking movie. I need to own that movie, and I can't wait for part 2 to come out. It worked for that. It worked great for that movie because it was about, like... They had, like, a good story with it. With the anthology, they had like a good story with what they were talking about with that. With Ooga Booga, not so much. Get that bullshit out of here.
Yeah, because with Tales from the Hood, each story, even though each story applied to the guys that were there, each story, was its own issue, and in the black community at that time. You know what I mean? Like with the police brutality, and then with the stepdad that was the monster, which I mean that could go for any race, but that, and then what was the other one, Aaron?
I honestly forgot.
Oh, the dolls, the voodoo dolls.
Oh yeah, the little nigglets.
Spooky. He called them spooky little nigglets.
Yo, We need to watch that movie again, and we need to do a podcast on that movie because that movie was so good not to do a podcast on, and funny.
Yeah. Like, so when you're Aaron's first year at Scaricon, Scott, we stayed at a hotel down the street from the casino.
Was that our first or second
And
year?
that was my second Scaricon. It was your first.
I thought
No.
We went every time we went to Scarecon. We went together.
That's right. I'm sorry. That's right. Yeah. Was it your first time seeing Tales from the Hood?
That's what it was.
Okay,
Yeah. And we were fucked up watching that movie
the
too.
People, the people walking by our hotel room were probably like, "What the hell are they watching?" Like, it was so funny.
All you heard was a bunch of laughing. Funny, I gotta just throw this out there while we're talking about this before we get back into Jason. That same weekend, because high as shit and drinking. That night watching these, we watched that first, and we watched that. We tried to watch the movie Pieces of Talent, but we were both too damn high to figure out what to even follow the movie. Yeah. So I think we started out with Pieces of Talent, which I have that movie. So I think we started out with that movie, and then we were like, you know what? Let's just try Tales from the Hood, and oh my goodness, laughing. That's the same time. Yep, because we stayed there. Remember when I don't remember if it was my picture or your picture that we got autographed. Fucking forgot on top of the car when we brought everything in the room. Went back outside.
I think you told me about that story.
Yeah. Listen to this. We literally went outside and searched the car probably 2 or 3 times. And I don't know who found it. One of us just looked up on top of the roof for whatever reason. Like, yo, it's right here.
I went back out.
Oh,
yeah, because it was my Tales Bordello of Blood.
Okay.
Tales from the Crypt, signed by the Crypt Keeper and Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, I got to get that shit framed.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, it was that.
What Scott, have you ever been to any cons, like horror conventions?
Only one that I've really been to tell you the truth, is one I worked at. I worked at the Fanticon.
Okay.
You guys were there, with Bruce Spalding Fuller, Veronica Carlson, Santiago Cirillo from The Walking Dead, Chris Harrelson from The Walking Dead. Kevin
that was a good venue.
Kevin Van Hensrick from Basket Case, and like all a bunch of Roy Funkus that did the Substitute movie, Jerry Reisel, and of course we had Tatanka and Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
And then we had a whole bunch of
Jimmy
comic
Hart
book.
with his suit.
That wasn't the one.
Artists.
Was that the one with Ari Lehman and Kevin Eastman, or was that the one after?
That was the one after.
Okay.
Yeah, after, yeah.
Yeah,
no, not after.
Yeah,
it was before, I think.
Oh, before.
It was before.
I was gonna say because we went to those 2, and then we went to like one more after that, and it wasn't that great. I was like, what the hell? It was.
Well, we went to Scaricon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably like 2 or 3 weeks after Fanticon.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
If I remember correctly, Henry, I think you met Kevin Eastman at Scaricon.
No, we met him at Fanticon.
No.
Fanticon?
Oh, yep. I remember that. That was Fanticon. That was the first one. Oh, it was the first one that I've ever been to.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Same here. And quick little story about this, and then I promise you, listeners, we're gonna get back into Jason, and I don't mean it in a sexual way. But Fanticon, we met Kevin Eastman there. My dumbass was so excited to get there. I have a bunch of books. Mm-hmm. I forgot my books here at home, and I live in Schenectady, so you guys know how it is from Schenectady to Colony on Wolf Road. It's a little. I mean, it's not long, but it's a little drive. So I drive back, grab my books, and go back out there to get my autograph signed. And while Henry's there, his lovely wife kept telling him to go meet Kevin Eastman and get his autograph, but he wouldn't do it without me, which was dope. So yeah, little fun little story with that.
Yeah, on the way.
That was exciting though. We were like fucking 6-year-old kids, big ass grins on our faces.
Oh yeah, and the best part was he didn't charge for an autograph.
Not at all. And he gave us our autograph and drew something in our books.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's like our favorite. He's like, who's your favorite turtle?
Yep.
So he drew Raphael and he drew a Mouser for me.
And he drew Donatello for me, I believe. And another cool thing about that, because this is around when the first movie, the remake or whatever you want to call it, the reboot of the movie came out. And we were talking to him about it, like, how do you feel about it? He's like, go see the movie. He's like, listen, go see the movie. It's going to be a good movie. Because me and Henry are actually debating on seeing the movie because all the bullshit that was coming out with the rumors about the turtles being aliens and all that shit.
Right.
So, we seen it.
Changed.
Yes.
I love that it changed and then they acknowledged it.
Mm-hmm. I do
Remember,
too.
she was like, someone was like, "Oh, so they're aliens?" She goes, "No, that'd be stupid."
The turtles.
Yeah. Well, what
Yeah.
was it? Didn't Kevin Eastman had a small part in that movie as well?
Part 2.
Part 2. Okay,
He was the pizza delivery guy in part 2.
that makes sense.
And they
That's
called,
awesome.
"Hey, thanks, Kevin."
That's awesome. All right, so I guess we can jump
But
back
yeah,
into
Turtle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. We're talking about turtles, and they're in New York City, and then
Yep.
Jason was. So
Yep.
how did
Yeah.
Jason not encounter the turtles?
Well, it was all that toxic waste that
They weren't there.
floods out the sewer each night.
They might not have been that part of the
Avoid
city. They weren't in that part of. Maybe they weren't born yet. Who knows?
True.
Actually, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Wait,
it could be.
what year is Jason Takes Manhattan? That's a better
Oh, that's as it's in the 90s.
That's an answer. I don't.
89,
I think.
right?
Probably late '80s, early '90s. I would
Yeah.
guess.
No, it's early. Like, I think it's late 90s. If hold on, I got Google here. I can just search it up.
No, 1989, and the Turtles were like 87.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They were in a different part of the city. That's all I can think of.
Wow, really? 1989, almost 1990. Jeez.
They were fighting. They must have been fighting Master Shredder. That's what. They were
They're
fighting
on the
Shredder on the
rooftop.
roof. They were just. They were on a different rooftop than Julius and Jason.
They probably saw the
imagine if.
aftermath.
Imagine if Casey Jones came across Jason with the hockey mask.
Oh shit! Jason would look confused as fuck. Like, what the? Who are you?
Well, he did look confused because they had a Jason billboard.
That
when he
was
first
dope.
got into Manhattan.
That's right.
He's
Mhm.
like,
Yep.
what?
How do these motherfuckers know about me?
Yeah, right.
They must like hockey here.
So what was it? One scene that kind of like bothered me, not like bothered me. It just didn't make no sense. So you got that prom queen that was trying to blackmail the one dude that you hate who gets thrown out the window.
Oh, he
later
was like a principal or a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, the teacher. Yeah. So like she writes like all
But she
over
was about to give it up.
I know. It was awesome. I was like, oh, she.
I think he would have finger banged her at least.
Right, at least do something, but he didn't. So she goes in the shower, and then Jason kind of like busts in, whatever, and she's like so afraid of like having like Jason see her naked that she's just like huddled in the corner for like way too long. Gives Jason time to smash the mirror, find like a sharp shard, and then stab her. But I heard that scene got cut. She was supposed to get stabbed a lot more, but there's a lot of things in that movie. It seems like it was edited to avoid like a higher rating, like an X rating or something like that.
Like she was afraid of Jason. She's about to go bang this old dude for a good grade.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Instead of just fucking doing her schoolwork.
Right.
According to an interview, and I'm getting these facts from IMDb, from Fangoria magazine, August 1989. Kane Hodder vomited on cue in the final scene after drinking several pitchers of water. That was not special effects. I believe I read that in the book too. He used to be able to throw up on command, which is crazy as fuck. But remember the part where he's in the sewer and he's climbing up the ladder and all that water comes out? That was real.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So fucking.
That's disgusting.
Again, hats off to Kane Hodder for fucking really playing the fucking part like that. That's dedication right there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, he loves playing Jason.
Skilled craftsman.
So much. Yep. You got it. It's just if you want work. What was it then?
Throw up.
What was the chick with the guitar and the one dude like filming her?
Yeah.
Whatever, like has a crush on her, obviously, but like she.
Oh yeah, she's like doing a music video or something, right?
Yeah. She goes down like in like the ship and she starts rocking out. Of course, Jason comes up behind her. She runs away, and then Jason improvises and uses the guitar kill, which is different for Jason.
It's cool, but
yeah.
The thing with Jason, though, I like
fan of jazz.
He didn't like her music. That's one thing. But Jason, the thing I like about it is I like how he'll use anything for a fucking weapon. One thing, one thing that did kind of bother me now that I think about it, just a little bit, is he didn't have his iconic machete in this movie at all.
He had the machete for the one kill.
Which one?
For the captain, where he comes up and he sees a dude with the wheel stuck in him. Jason comes behind him and slits his throat with the machete.
Was it with a machete or was it with just a knife though? That part.
Well, I have the YouTube video up here. I can just go back a little bit here.
While you're checking that up, I got another IMDb fact. It says the cruise ship was named Lazarus, which is from the Bible. Biblical character, which, brought back from the dead, just like Jason's dead, which I guess that's pretty cool. Jason comes back all the time.
Yeah, it looks like a machete, tell you. That or a long knife.
Okay.
It might have been a backup because he didn't want to get his regular machete rusty.
He didn't want to lose it in the city. That's what it was. He didn't want to get robbed.
Yeah.
He left that at home.
Yeah, he probably brought that shit to a pawn shop.
Well, also too, like what kind of sucks is he gets the fire axe, which looks cool, but they don't even show the kill for that one dude. Like, gets the axe in the back. You only used that weapon once.
Yeah.
Which kind of irks me because in Friday the 13th, the game, they have him with the fire axe, and he only used it like once through the whole film. But in this film, he actually uses a lot of weapons. I said he improvised.
Yeah, he does. He's fucking just picking shit up and using it, which I love.
Yep.
That's one thing I did like about it. Another little fun fact: the guy who played Julius. Remember the phone booth scene?
My dad's side.
I figured. Anyway, the phone booth scene where Jason punched the glass and broke the glass. Julius cut his hand, like really cut his hand in that scene.
Oh wow!
Which I believe I read that in the book too, and I think they had to like stop taping for a little bit so his hand can heal up because it was bleeding. I think it was bleeding kind of bad. So that's kind of cool.
And then it's like, okay, you're gonna punch Jason with the bloody hand. No one came. He probably took it. You just give him fucked up. It's like, yeah, just go ahead and punch me for real.
Trying to see if I can find any more fun facts with this movie. Just in case you listeners didn't know, this movie is not based on a true story. The other ones are though, but this one's not.
Yeah.
It's like a alternate dimension.
Yep. From 8 till when he goes to space. That's stuff.
Bizarro Manhattan.
Yeah, Bizarro man.
So what'd you guys think of this movie though? Scott, I'll start with you. What'd you think of this movie as a whole? And I'll say, Henry, same question when Scott's done.
Alright. So the reason why I wanted this film really stuck in my mind and one of my favorite films is I remember the scene where it scared the shit out of me when King busts through the window with the main chick there and starts like choking her. Like, oh no, Jason's gonna get her. And then she stabbed him in the eye, and I didn't expect the stab in the eye, and it was like I was like, oh my god. That, and for like some reason I had like a super crush on the rocker chick. So like I liked her, but like she got like offed in like the first, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie, but it's whatever. But what really makes me enjoy this movie as a whole is, yeah, it sucks that it didn't take place mostly in Manhattan. Is it shows off that Jason doesn't have to stick with his iconic machete. He uses a lot of different weapons in this, and he's not afraid to kill you with his own bare hands as well, which I thought was really, really cool. And people like, oh, like how you can like a movie like bad acting. It's like you're never there for the actors. You're just there to see Jason work his magic, And I think Kane Hodder did a really good job in this, regardless of how you take people, how they reacted to their death. Kane Hodder, just looking him at like a whole in this movie and how he killed people, that intensity, that that unstoppable force, right there. It's like, wow, he really wants to get these people. He really wants to kill people, and he doesn't need. He's like, He doesn't even need a machete. He'll kill you with anything. Anything that he can get his hands on. If he can't get his hands on anything, he'll just do it up close and personal. So that's why I enjoyed it. I mean, also too, what also made me enjoy the movie is obviously some of the comical stuff as well. You know, you have him busting through the diner. You know, people are sitting down like, oh, okay, this is like an all day in New York. But lo and behold, he throws somebody into a mirror. And people like, you know what? I'm out of here. I don't want any trouble. People start getting up and leaving, you know. And then of course, you know, when he gets to Manhattan, he sees the billboard himself. He's like, what? And then of course, I got to mention the radio kick, which was great. So it was a little bit of a comical aspect of it, you know, even though being a horror movie.
He was barefoot.
Yeah, he just boom, just boots it, you know. And that's what made me enjoy the movie as a whole. And really stuck in my mind compared to the others. So even though like he's a scary slasher villain, unstoppable monster, it's just good to see like the little bit of the comical side. So it made me enjoy Jason a little bit better as a slasher villain. So
Okay, I like that answer. And Henry, same with you. What did you think about this movie as a whole, from what you remember?
I mean, I liked it. I mean, there isn't a single Jason movie that I don't like. Like,
Yeah,
you know, some I like less than others. But what I liked the most about it was, you know, the change of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they tried to keep the series fresh, so you know they switched it up a little bit instead of it just being at the camp. You know, so I appreciate the attempt at that. And you know, being from New York, it was just cool to have Jason in our backyard, you know.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
I agree. I agree with both of you on a lot of the stuff you said. And like again, like with the change of scenery, I think it was cool. I just kind of wish, I don't know. I wish there was more of a scare factor in this movie, honestly. There was there was a lot of comedy in the movie. I mean, parts that us horror fans might find funny, somebody else might not find certain things funny. But just cuz like with Jason, yeah, oh yeah, you're definitely going to be laughing. But like with Jason movies, you know, I see them as being more of a serious kind of slasher versus like Freddy or Chucky or the Leprechaun, for example.
Yep.
But I mean, what they did for this movie, it wasn't horrible. Like again, like you both said, none of us hate any Jason movie. There's some you like better than others. Some you like, you know, it happens in franchises in general. And I don't know. I just wish there was I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun movie overall. I wish it was darker, and like certain things I didn't like the way it ended. I didn't like that. I didn't like how he died in the sewer and all that or whatever. And I didn't like how like I don't know what the hell it was. Let's say it acid or whatever was in the sewer, toxic waste, acid, whatever. But like it's like his body melted and he was a kid. That made no fucking sense to me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Not at all.
No. Yep.
And
I mean, if it was water, it'd be different because he's afraid of water, but it's toxic waste. So
that's New York water too. That's New York.
Yeah, it's true.
I bet you that would happen to any of us. Next time you visit the city, go down there, be a kid again.
I'm good. I don't want to take that risk. Fucking try to climb down that sewer.
And that was in the 80s. Yeah. Imagine how it is now.
Yo, Henry, the way you look, you going down in a sewer, they're going to think it's a terrorist attack. You better not do that.
Yeah, I try to stay out of Manhattan.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, he's a part of ISIS. Get him. He's going down in the sewer to blow shit up.
We're going to finish what Jason started.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? It would be cool. Like, have you guys been to Manhattan?
I haven't been to the city in years.
Like, I think twice, actually.
I don't even know if I've ever been.
You know
there.
how like you have people like dressed up like Spider-Man and shit like that down in Times Square, like in that area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody dressed.
How has no one ever dressed up like Jason? That would be so cool.
Oh, you're right.
I know, it'd be so awesome.
You're right. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe someone has it, but yeah, that would be dope. I would love to see that.
Just standing there.
Mm-hmm.
Taking it all in.
Taking Manhattan.
Scaring people.
Scaring people.
Kicking over radios.
Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
No, I just want to chime in real quick. I do agree.
It'd be an iPod.
I do agree with you, Aaron. The ending, it felt like it was rushed because it felt like, all right, how are we just gonna end this? Like we got to the sewer because the last person he kills is the engineer that's working down like the sewer or whatever he's doing with a wrench, and they kind of edited that kill too, which kind of sucked. You know, you just see the shadow of it. But yeah, it just seems like it's like, well, we're here. Let's just say the sewer fills up with toxic waste. But actually, if you start watching, I think in the beginning of the film, it kind of foreshadows how they take care of them, because you see like the toxic waste barrels throughout like the movie. So it's kind of ironic that that's how Jason ended up getting defeated. Like, not really defeated. He's just a kid again. So like he's defeated but not defeated. It's weird, because I don't know how I forget how part 9 was. Part 9 is Jason Goes to Hell. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they just pretty much go pick up in part 9. They pick up with him in the forest back at Crystal Lake, you know, chasing that one chick, which is end up being a setup to kill Jason. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but
didn't
back,
Titty pop out?
Yeah, Titty popped out. You know,
Titty.
It was great. She was hot too. Well, anyway, no, but yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. It just felt like, you know, the ending could have been a little bit better. But what the problem is with different scenery, you're like, oh, you know, typically we just bound Jason back to the lake, you know, like Tommy Jarvis did in part 6, and then Tina called back her father. Every time he ends back into the lake, they didn't really have that. So I guess it's like the better alternative is like, okay, the sewer floods and basically, you know, he goes back to being a kid, you know, I guess.
Yeah, you know, I think it really goes back to like having different directors. And this was the 8th movie. You know, they had to do something different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even with part 3, they did the 3D, right?
Yep.
And, you know, just with a franchise that goes, you know, has been out as long as Jason has, you gotta keep it fresh. And I think that's what their attempt was, and it might have not have worked as well as they thought it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. It does make sense. You want to start out with something. You want to keep, like, because you're like, you know what? People love this franchise. People love Jason. Let's take him somewhere else. Let's take him to fucking Manhattan. And then
maybe get some new fans, because hardcore fans are going to watch it regardless.
I did a podcast yesterday with Rob. We did the movie Never Hike Alone, Friday the 13th movie, fan-made film, which was fucking excellent. And we were just talking, like, I was like, look, if they made fucking 67 more Jason movies, I'm going to see Friday the 13th, part 67, Jason Takes Schenectady. And
Jason Takes Schenectady.
And I'm going to I'll be that one asshole in mind watching it and enjoying it. And just, like, because he's my favorite slasher, so I will always watch those movies, no matter how good or how terrible they are. And just because he's my favorite slasher, I'll never hate any of those movies. I won't like them as much as others, but I won't hate them either. Like, there's certain horror movies, like fucking, I'll just think of them when it comes to mind again. Fucking Ooga Booga, I'll never watch that again. I will say, watch at your own risk. Don't blame me if you hate it, because it was a 1. But, yeah, like, it's...
Hey, Rylan, do you want to see Ooga Booga?
Huh?
Rylan wants to see Ooga Booga.
He's not going to like it. So, okay. We can jump into my little slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy segment, and my first question for you both is, and whoever wants to go first goes first. What would you rate this movie? From 1 to 10 Jason masks.
You can go first, Scott.
I rate it 8 Jason masks.
Oh, wow.
8 Jason masks because, again, you know, it's my favorite out of the franchise, so it's gonna be high. Kind of high, and I like what Henry. This is why I like having more people that discuss review a movie. I never thought about it, but you know, Henry brought up a good point with the change of scenery, because when you do sequels upon sequels upon sequels, you have to change it up, and you know that definitely. I never thought about that, but he's absolutely right. You know, you have to change up something. But real quick, I mean, I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say before. You know, Jason pretty much really shows his strength, really shows off his supernatural, you know, powers, basically, because he pretty much is not in one spot and shows up in the next. And,
yeah,
you know, he pretty much used anything at his disposal. Kane Hodder. And you gotta give credit to Kane Hodder because Kane Hodder really, I think, brought Jason to a whole new level. This his first film? He didn't do 7, right? He did 7.
No, he
So
did.
he did 7. So
Yep.
this was the second film as Jason. So he got a chance to be really into characters, and I think Part 8 has more kills than 7 did. So bring that intensity back and really get into character and whatnot. Really, really help and change the scenery, as Henry said. So 8 out of 10 Jason Mask.
Nice. Henry?
I'd give it 7. Just from what, in my opinion, what they were trying to do is just do something different. And instead of popping out and having them go to space,
Which
they ended up
doing.
happening anyways. But yeah, I mean, because especially in the 80s, you had Gremlins, and then you had Critters. Well, the Critters are from outer space. The Critters are aliens. And then, instead of just trying to do something out of this world, they just put them in, in the 80s, New York City was like Hollywood, right? Like,
yeah,
it was a place to be. And like, well, why not bring, everyone's favorite killer there?
Yep.
Because it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked with anyone else, really. It wouldn't have worked with Michael Myers. It wouldn't have worked with Freddy. So I think it worked for what they were trying to do. I feel like it worked.
Now, jumping in what you just said, I agree with. See, it's 50-50 with me with the Michael Myers thing because again, he follows Laurie Strode everywhere. So wherever she goes, somehow he ends up
one person.
Which is weird in a sense, but I mean it's maybe with him, maybe, but I get it with Jason because Jersey's right fucking there. Like hop on the train and go. And then with
and there's a Crystal Lake not too far from Albany.
Nice.
I fished it before. There's a lot of largemouth in there.
And then again, just jumping this off just because you threw these in there. And then Freddy, I mean, because it's Nightmare on Elm Street, but at the same time, I mean, if somebody's going to the city that's dreaming about Freddy and brings them out or whatever, I don't know.
I mean, it would have been pretty cool though.
It would have been fun. It would have been funny too.
Because Freddy talks.
Yeah.
So he could be like, oh, make fun of someone because of their stupid haircut or what have you.
Yeah, it could have been fun, but I'll rate this movie. I'll say 6.5 Jason Masks, and just because like I know you don't need a story, but I wish there was kind of more of a story to it, and I wish it was a lot darker. Even if you keep the humor in, I still wish it was a lot darker than what it was. I like the scenes with Jason because every scene with Jason was really intense, and I wish more of the kills were on screen because a lot of stuff was kind of off screen. Then you seen the person dead.
Yeah,
that was probably a budget.
Yeah, probably. But I'm just that would rate it up for me, and some titties. Has that ever hurt a horror movie?
No, it never has. That actually helps.
A set or two of titties, boom. That's a 7 for me right there. Maybe even a 7.5. But yeah, so my next question for you two is, which I already know the answer, but just would you rewatch this movie and would you recommend this movie for someone who hasn't seen it?
Well, I guess I'll go first since I'm the pimp. When I watch this movie, yes, I always watch this movie every time like Friday the 13th comes around and whatnot. Would I recommend it as a first Jason movie to start out with? No,
not necessarily.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that one.
I mean, like, just a recommended watch, not necessarily a recommended first. Let's say they've seen all the way up to part 7, just for argument's sake.
Yeah, I would just say 8 is a good watch, but I have open mind that they try to do something different than just keep it the same repetitive thing. They keep, they try something different, and Jason does do different things. As I said, he's more improv basically in this one rather than just typical using my machete. Because he does cool kills with machete, but it was nice to see the improv of the kills in this film as well. So But that's how I would tell. Just keep an open mind. It's you know, to some people it's not the best, but for me, I enjoy it
Hmm.
as one of the best. So that's what I would say.
And Henry, same two questions for you. Would you rewatch this movie, and would you recommend this movie?
I would watch it if it was on.
Hmm.
I wouldn't go grab the box set and go, I'm gonna watch this one. You know what I mean? My favorite one is I think it's 6. When Tommy Jarvis accidentally brings him back to life. Right?
Yep. That's 6.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
And would you recommend this movie?
I mean, I'd say it just like what Scott said. I wouldn't recommend it to someone who hasn't watched any of the movies before.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like a spin-off almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend it, but not as a first viewing of it.
And I'm pretty much the same.
I would say either 2 or 6 I would recommend for a first.
Oh, okay.
Those are my favorites.
See, with me, I would say yes to both of those questions I asked you, gentlemen. You already know I'd rewatch it because damn near every Friday the 13th when it's coming up, Henry, you know this. We were doing this as kids when I got this movie. Start it from the first one and watch it throughout the weekend. So yes, I would rewatch this movie. Yes, I would recommend this movie. And I would honestly say, I mean, me personally, as a fan of the franchise, my favorite slasher franchise, I would say watch it from 1 on. Just watch them all, even, from 1 to fucking the remake. And I would even throw in here, watch the movie Never Hike Alone because it was really good. It was actually better than this, in my opinion, which it's a fan-made film. But it was just like, if you haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube. It's a really good movie, and I'm actually going to jump right into my next question, which I answered with one movie. What's 2 movies, horror movies? It can be from when you guys were kids till now. Whatever horror movies you've seen, give me 2 movies that you recommend for people to watch. And I'm going to throw out one, like I just said. I just said Never Hike Alone. And Scott, you got 2? And Henry, do you have any?
Yeah. I got 2. Back in the day, I mean, it's kind of corny now because I'm older, but it's still nostalgic for me. Trolls.
Okay.
Trolls and Gremlins. I always enjoyed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gremlins. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if you want to start out with horror,
the second
whatever,
one, right?
Yeah, the second one. Second one's so much better. Yeah,
it really is.
Thanks for asking that question, Henry. Yeah,
yeah.
Let me clarify that.
One,
yeah. Like the second one is so much better. I don't remember much about Trolls, but Trolls scared the shit out of me. I remember that. Not Troll 2, where oh my god, they're eating her. Now they're gonna eat me. Oh my god. No.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
But yeah, those 2 movies I recommend if you were trying to get in the horror franchise. Definitely those 2 movies, Gremlins 2 and Trolls.
Okay. Henry?
Mainly Gremlins 2 first, probably, then Trolls. So that's why I mentioned Gremlins 2.
All right, yeah, like for me, because like there's 2, in my opinion, there's like 2 different versions of horror movies. Like you have like the more serious horror movies, like Night of the Living Dead, right?
Yep.
And then you have like the more comedic version, like Return of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I like the more comedy-driven ones for the most part, especially as a kid, because as a kid, even those were scary. But if I only had to pick 2, I would say Dead Alive and Sleepaway Camp, because Sleepaway Camp's the more serious one, and then Dead Alive is it's a comedy.
It is.
Yeah, it's sure.
But it scared the shit out of me as a kid.
It's great though.
Doesn't it make you want some? What was it? Tapioca pudding?
And then I put both of you guys on both of those movies.
Yeah, you did.
If I remember correctly.
As a matter of fact, asshole. Yeah, Aaron, watch Sleepaway Camp. There's a surprise at the end.
Oh yeah. That was a nice little surprise.
It's a little shrimp.
But like, for my my movie recommendations, like I said Never Hike Alone. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. It's free on YouTube at that. So definitely go check that movie out. It's awesome. And I'm gonna throw this out there. I actually contacted them on the Womp Stomp. Their Womp Stomp Films. They're the guys who made the Never Hike Alone. I contacted them on Instagram. I also tweeted them, which they retweeted my tweet of me doing the review on their movie. And I told them I wanted them on the podcast. So they told me to email them. So I'm eventually gonna get them on here, which will be pretty fucking awesome. I can't wait for that.
That's gonna be an awesome podcast, man. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm throwing this out there. If you guys are both free, I wouldn't mind if you guys are on the if you guys are on here. But I'll tell you, definitely check the movie out first, and we can just go. We can discuss first and kind of figure out what we want to talk to them about and all that. But yeah, so I had to throw that little thing out there because this literally just happened like yesterday. So everybody else is gonna hear this.
That's awesome news.
Everybody else is gonna hear this on Friday the 13th. And then another movie I'll say to check out is shit. I'm just gonna throw this movie out here. I've been championing this movie for so fucking long. I've thrown this movie out here for my movie recommendations. Go see Terrifier, and I'm gonna throw it with this because Terrifier, Art the Clown, and some people are gonna be like, "You're bugging, you're fucking crazy, it's too soon." But he is my second favorite slasher right now. It used to be Freddy / Michael Myers, but he jumped over them just because the way the movie is, like the way he kills. He's funny. He's brutal. He's a silent killer like Jason and Michael, but he's funny and he's brutal. And he's just it's fucking awesome. Watch the movie for the kills and stuff. Don't watch the first story because this movie didn't really have a story, and there's gonna be more. And I'm really hoping that this turns out being like one of the next big slasher movies. So those are my two with that. And I'm gonna throw one more question out. Well, probably more than one more, but another movie question for you guys. Besides, I'll say Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th, what's one horror franchise you would recommend these horror fans to watch?
I mean, going back, horror franchise. Well, if you're looking for like something like kind of serious, I would go with. I mean, this is not just me plugging me being senior editor or anything for Night of the Living Dead, but if you look for like more serious tone, definitely see the original of the Night of the Living Dead, and then the remake, and then the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you'd be surprised. A lot of people haven't seen the original.
Yeah, but it was so good for its time. Like it still holds up to this day. Like if you're looking for something serious, I would definitely start out with the original Night of the Living Dead, and then see the remake, and then see the other like Return of the Living Dead, all that stuff. Something a little bit more comical if you do want to ease into horror and stuff. As I said, Gremlins 2 is great. Dead Alive, as we discussed, Dead Alive is great. It's still scares the crap out of you, but it has you kind of ease into the horror. I mean, it is I mean that what makes it so good, and that's what I would say. I mean, you guys pretty much know a lot more horror stuff than I do, a little bit, but besides like the big three, so.
And like just to touch down on the Night of the Living Dead, at that time it was a big deal because it was one of the first movies in that genre, and I believe in general, to have the main character a black man.
Nice.
Yep.
That so that was that for especially back then, that was a big deal, and obviously it was in black and white. You could feel like the desperation and the tension in that movie.
Yeah.
That I feel wasn't in the remake.
Mm-hmm.
But the remake was great. Tom Savini directed it, right, Scott?
Yep, Tom Savini directed it. I like to call it not a remake, a reimagine. He's reimagining. What makes the remake kind of good in its own way, because as we know in the original, I don't want to do too many spoilers, but the big difference is the main character Barbara goes from damsel in distress to, I'm a
kicking
badass.
ass.
Because at the time, with the remake, you got Sigourney Weaver and you got, Laurie Strode and stuff. These female, main protagonists, showing like, hey, us females can kick some ass too. It don't always have to be these 80s macho guys with big muscles taking on the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like
that's what I like. Yeah.
So that's
I just love
what,
seeing women kick ass.
yeah. So yeah, and you got I forget her name. Maybe you know her name. I always forget it. It's the girl, the actor that plays Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. I forget. I already said I forget.
Gee.
Yeah, but you got
Sarah
her
Connor.
too. Yeah, so just I would say
We'll
Sarah
just
Connor.
call her Sarah Connor.
Yeah, you know, I got all these women, so it was perfect for the when Tom Savini directed the reimagining of it. It was a perfect time for that. To
absolutely.
give the main character like I'm not going to be damn.
And then Tony Todd was in it.
Yeah, it was perfect. Tony Todd is always perfect, So
yeah,
it's just great. It just molded well, So, but I don't want to give too. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because definitely see the original first, and then move on to the remake. I mean, that's the big difference mainly, but the original is definitely really really fantastic. And I still say it holds up to this day.
Nice.
Yeah, I would agree.
What about you, Henry? Besides the big three or whatever? What's a horror franchise?
My favorite franchise is The Return of the Living Dead.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that would be
and the thing I like the most about The Return of the Living Dead, they acknowledge the Night of the Living Dead.
Nice.
As a movie.
Nice.
The guy, I think his name is Chuck. I have his autograph on a poster somewhere. He's talking to his boss, where they work at not a mortuary, but a shipping, like a middleman, like where they ship out cadavers, body parts, things of that nature.
Buttholes.
And I remember, yeah, I'm sure a butthole or two in a Ziploc bag. I remember watching it as a kid, not thinking it was funny, and knowing the Night of the Living Dead movie. And then his boss says to him, he's like, that Night of the Living Dead movie? He was like, that was based on a true story. And then they talk about what made the zombies come out, and it was trioxin, I think it was called. Some chemical made by the army. Mm-hmm. And then he had a barrel of it down in the basement. And then he goes, but yeah, he's like, don't worry about this. This stuff isn't going to get out. This stuff is sealed tight. And he slaps the barrel. What do you know? All the trioxin, the smoke and shit comes out. And then, you have the events that follow. But I like the fact that they acknowledge that movie, so they're not going to get sued or anything. But they just acknowledge it and then say that it's based on a true story. And then it goes from there.
Nice.
The series really goes downhill after the third movie, but I watched them all.
I'm going to throw one in there that I don't know if you guys would expect me to throw in there or not. It's not necessarily a big movie. It's a fun movie. There's 6 movies. Huh?
Ooga Booga?
Is it Ooga Booga?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Before you jump in, the actor that plays Sarah Connor is Linda Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
First, so I will say, and I didn't like. I like the first 4 of these movies, but the Wrong Turn movies, they were fun movies. Real gory. If you like gore, you like slashers and like bloody fucking fucked up hillbilly woodsman fucking up shit, you're gonna like these movies. And like I said,
don't watch the first one.
Don't watch it for the acting, obviously. But the first 4 to me were really freaking fun. They were really good and excellent. The last 2, just I wish I could. I don't know. I was very disappointed. I don't know if I'd ever watch them again. Huh?
You wish you could unwatch them?
Kind of, but then again, it's like if I unwatched it, then I wouldn't know what happened. I'd have to watch it again. So I guess I just wouldn't rewatch it. And then, as always, I will say this: for those of you who've followed me on Facebook, on my Facebook group, Horror with Sir Sturdy, and my page, the Normal Terror movie, definitely go on their page, Sacrificial Pawn Productions, Sam Mason. Check that out because that movie is just.
Yeah, that's coming out.
I think it's supposed to be coming out at the end of this year. I'm gonna have to get him on here again. I'm supposed to be talking to his producer also, Steve Cipher. Mm-hmm. But I'm also gonna get Sam on here again, and just to see what's going on with the movie. I know they had a little setback for a little bit, but they're back into it now, and I think that's good. That movie's gonna be very good. I think it's gonna be an interesting horror movie. I'm definitely gonna support that. Definitely backing that all the time. So definitely go to the Normal Terror page on Facebook. Normal Terror on he's also on Instagram, and he might even be on Twitter. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look that up myself. and just check them out on there. But you guys have anything else you want to talk about horror wise, or you good, or what's up?
No, I mean
Yeah.
you and I had that long, almost 3 hour discussion basically. Last time I was on, I think it was episode 14 of your podcast. So we
Yep.
talked. I mean, we still got to do another podcast for more horror stuff because there's just so much to talk about. And
Oh, there's-
it's fantastic.
Well, this
It's
is what I
endless.
want. This is what I want. I want Aaron
Wow.
to play Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, because Scott and
Mhm.
I mean, how many times have we spent, like, who knows how much time at work talking about these games?
Too much.
like we would be down in our pounds per hour because we're just hanging out talking about, the Resident Evil series.
Well, you know what, Henry?
Aaron, Scott's a big fan of the series.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm- I'm-
movies
listen.
and the games.
I'm gonna play this game. All right. My thing to I'm gonna say this though. Two things. One, Henry, I'm gonna say you get a freaking headset so we can at least, when I'm online playing, we can at least talk while I'm playing. And
I know I've been saying I just.
I mean, at the very least, we could do it like this, not minus the recording part. We could do it right on Skype and just all of us talking on here or whatever. Which is cool too. And then my second thing is, when I do eventually, not eventually, I'm gonna get into this game this week. Okay.
All right.
When I do get into this game and like play it, would you guys want to do a podcast on this Resident Evil 7 game and just kind of discuss the game some, or would you be down to do that?
Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Okay, cool.
And then I want to talk about our hopes and what we want for the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Sounds good to me.
Ooh, okay, yeah. You know what? I like it.
That sounds good to me. I don't know Resident Evil Part 2 at all, but I'm down for it. I've only seen it played as like
What?
back in the
Go on Wikipedia, YouTube.
Yeah, I will. I'll do my research. But I was gonna say, going back in the day when we used to go to Michael's as kids. I don't know if you were chilling with us at the time then, or if you were there those times.
When Bobby had the Game Shark.
Yeah, and he used to play.
I would fall asleep playing it.
Part 1.
Literally fall asleep. Yeah, Part 2. I would literally fall asleep with the controller in my hand.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's true. But I was gonna say him and his boy used to play Part 1 for I used to watch them play Part 1 for hours every freaking night over because we'd be there in the summer a lot. But yeah. So that sounds like a fucking great idea. And another thing, we all got to get. Well, I believe Scott already has the game, but Friday the 13th, we all got to play that together one day. That's a fun fucking game.
Yeah, I already have.
Yeah, I got to get that.
It's fun. So hey, I guess that's what you'll be hearing from us
The thing
soon.
that sucks is like the time difference, because like I get home from work like around midnight,
Yeah.
and like I actually had the chance. I played for maybe like 45 minutes. I was playing God of War last night for a while.
No, I get it though, but we'll have to when we try to all game together, we'll have to plan something out. Best, I mean, but I'm guessing it's best for all of us. I know for me, best for me is especially because you get out so late, is on the weekends, like from Friday night to Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of deal. Because I have to be up Monday through Friday. I have to be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, so I can't be up playing video games.
I know it's a ways away, but I have the first 2 weeks of October off.
Okay, so
I'm switching in the process of switching departments, so maybe when I get back on a steady schedule, it'll be easier because I'll start having weekends off, so it'll be easier to any podcast or or just even game together. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end this podcast real quick. If we can keep discussing shit after this, but these people don't need to know all of our business. So,
right.
You guys have anything you want to say closing before I close it out?
Yeah. I just wanted to say, thanks to all your listeners and congratulations on your over 1,000 downloads of your podcast.
Thank you.
I always like to see people become successful. Because I do stream on Twitch and whatnot, and start getting community. I just like to see how the people start growing themselves, and I love these horror podcasts that you're doing. And you always can just hit me up for a discussion, even just random horror stuff, or it's like, hey, have you seen this movie? Yeah, or discuss this. There's just horror is just such a vast, a vast thing that you can talk about anything again for hours. As I said in episode 14, you and I almost had like a 3-hour conversation about this stuff. But Again, thank you so much for inviting me back to your podcast, and thanks for not going too hard on Jason Take Manhattan. But as we all agree, it's a Jason movie, good or bad, we still love it.
Oh yeah.
So,
and I mean, Scott, you're always welcome to come on. You're welcome for the invitation, and thank you for always coming on and showing up and all that stuff. It's awesome. Definitely want to get you on more, and obviously Henry, I want to get you on more. And Henry, do you have anything closing you want to say before I close it out, or?
Other than the Resident Evil movies suck,
and fuck Corey Feldman.
yeah.
You want to say anything to Corey Feldman?
Fuck him.
There you have it.
And his chipped tooth.
Ooh, fuck him and his chipped tooth. That sounds personal.
Hey, he killed Jason in part 4.
Yes, he did. That's why I don't like him. But I got one.
Duke short.
I got another thing, which those are coming back for guys for what a strange reason. I don't get that, but I don't want to get too into that. Anyway, I want to start doing like which people, if you're listening, if you have any independent horror films, please hit me up, email me them, horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com, because I would like to try to do like an independent fan-made film like once a month, reviewing it with whoever and just discussing the movie. Try to have that come out like once a month, at the very least once a month. Same with like a random horror chat, kind of like once a month, not just always reviewing, big name movies or bigger movies. I want to get these. I'm trying to start supporting more fan-made horror films just because it helps get their name out there. It helps us all. It helps get their name out there. It helps get my name out there. And it just kind of, one hand washes the other. Same thing with other horror podcasts. Yeah. Shout out to other horror podcasts like Three Guys at Horror and all the other ones I listen to, Cinema Attack podcast. And, that's about it. So I'm going to close this off. And I will say again, Corey Feldman, fuck you for what you did to Jason. And, shit. Go ahead.
A lot of rap. No, but I would say, and that's a wrap.
Yes, it is. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in your night.
Hey, that's how everything should end.
And Corey.
What? Fuck you, Corey.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, listen. All right. On the count of 3, we'll end it just like that. Everybody say it. 1, 2, 3. Fuck you, Corey Feldman.
Fuck you, Corey Feldman.